There's a lot of injustice that goes on in the world, both past and present. And today's readings highlight injustices that occurred in biblical times. And they also give us Jesus' example of how he deals with it, how he handles the injustice that is being perpetrated against him. And I'm going to start off by giving just a couple lines from our first reading, our responsorial psalm. As I go over those, I want each of you to think about some injustice that applies to that today that you know of, and think about maybe how these injustices applied to Jesus. So the first is from Psalm 10, and of course that was written, the Psalms written by King David and King Solomon about 1,000 years before Christ. And it says, "The wicked harass the afflicted. His mouth," and so this is the wicked's mouth, "his mouth is full of cursing, guile, and deceit. He murders the innocent." And then from that reading from the prophet Micah, our first reading. So he was a peasant. God chose him to be a prophet in the southern kingdom of Judah about 700 years before Christ. "Those who plan iniquity," so those that are unjust, the wicked, "those who plan iniquity covet fields and take them. They cheat a owner of his house." So now we all have some good picture of injustice today, as well as a little profile of what it was years and years ago. And then in today's gospel, the Pharisees are unjust to Jesus. They're plotting, they're scheming to kill him. And you say, well, gosh, what did he do wrong? And so the big thing, the reason they want to kill him is they're jealous, because Jesus draws such great crowds, and he's so powerful and so authoritative. But the things that got him recently before this reading was one that he claimed himself as Lord of the Sabbath. In other words, he claimed himself as God. And the straw that sort of breaks the camel's back here is he cured a man with a withered hand on the Sabbath in the temple, like a trifecta of things that really upset the Pharisees. And so they're out to kill him. And how sad it is that the Pharisees misunderstood who Jesus was, because they had been waiting for over 1,000 years for the Messiah to come. Now, the same injustices and misunderstandings of times past, they occur today. And think about how many times we have been criticized, or Christians have been criticized, for doing what is right. Think about the pro-life movement. You know, how many people that are pro-life have been criticized heavily by the pro-choice crowd? Think about people that want to be able to pray in public and the criticism that they receive. Think about those that proclaim that God created a male and female and the criticism that they'll receive, you know. And it just goes on and on. So there's lots of criticism that comes our way for doing the Christian thing, the Catholic thing, trying to proclaim our faith. And so you reflect, so well, how did Jesus handle these criticisms? He didn't respond with violence, which would have been, you know, greater injustice. He didn't fight. He withdrew. But he didn't stop preaching, and he didn't stop healing. It says he withdrew, and he continued to heal, and he healed everyone that came to him. And so today, how do we handle the schemers in our life? Okay? And we do it by following Jesus' example, continuing to do good. And then we leave the judgment to God. Our job is to do good and continue to help the needy.